What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. It's very hot out here. It's lovely. I love it. T-shirts out, my muscles, shade out, all that stuff. Getting ready to go and do some, you know what I mean? So thank you very much for stopping by. You very much appreciate it. Thank you for constantly watching us. I see you watching from South Africa, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. Thank you so much, Liberia, Sierra Leone. I see you, UK, United States of America, Jamaica, Wagwami boss, Tobago, Trinidad. Thank you very much for being here. So we are the same people. You know what it is. If this is your first time, I suggest that you join us. Click on the button, subscribe button. Yes, right there. I know we already like each other anyway, so we're gonna be good. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about something very interesting. There is an interview here by Comoros president. He's also the chief or the chairman of the African Union. He's Comoros president, and I don't know if you know where Comoros is. Let's just put a map. Comoros, beautiful place. I was there very lately. Lovely moments. I had a very good time. In fact, I broke my jaw in February. Something really horrific happened to me. I was attacked. They broke my jaw with a stone. It was one of the most painful time in my life. I had to fly to South Africa. Let me be honest. I flew from one country, which I'm not going to name right now. My jaw was broken from my cell phone. They broke my jaw with a rock. Anyway, we're going to get into that. So I needed that. I went to Comoros to just relax and feel human again. Yeah, bad, really bad. The country has a beautiful reputation of people being good, but my reality was really drastic and dramatic. So let's get back to the point. Comorian president has an interview with the Chinese host, okay? And he's asking him questions about China. Let's follow and I make a comment. Let's go.
Let's talk about the role of China in Africa, which is a hotly discussed issue over the years and decades. As a state leader, also chair of the African Union, I'm wondering, how do you look at the role of China by and large and overall, all things considered, the influence of China on Africa?
Comme je l'ai dit, la Chine a toujours eu un comportement exceptionnel, très apprécié, et qui, même nous, vis-à-vis de notre partenaire, on défend. On défend nos partenaires. Que bon, la Chine a un comportement tel. Si vous vous comportez comme tel, il n'y aura pas de problème. Aujourd'hui, on a compris que les richesses dont disposent les pays africains doivent être dans l'intérêt des Africains et pas dans les intérêts des autres. Et c'est pourquoi ces gens-là qui venaient s'approprier des richesses partir, maintenant on les a fait comprendre qu'il va falloir qu'on coopère de façon à ce que nous, on gagne la formation des ressources humaines, à ce que demain, s'il y a des projets qui sont investis dans un pays, que ce pays-là dispose d'experts nationaux à suivre le projet. Donc effectivement, nos partenaires, c'est vrai, commence à poser problème, ils ont compris. Il y en a même, comme je l'ai dit, la Chine, il n'y a pas un pays africain, il n'a pas de relation. Maintenant qu'ils sont jaloux, qui veulent se ressusciter. C'est pas trop tard. Mais à condition, effectivement, de suivre le chemin de la Chine. C'est-à-dire, vous respectez le pays, vous respectez le peuple, on fait un contrat, effectivement, gagnant-gagnant, le contrat qu'on peut s'asseoir en tant qu'amis, en tant que frères, pour essayer d'évaluer, de voir les points faibles, les points forts, pour aller de l'avant. Donc, s'ils comprennent ça, il n'y a pas de problème.
So this is beautiful, as you can see. Now I'm going to make a comment on top of it. Let's go.
Let's talk about the role of China in Africa, which is a hotly discussed issue over
China in Africa.
The years and decades. As a state leader, also chair of the African Union, I'm wondering, how do you look at the role of China by and large and overall, all things considered, the influence of China on Africa?
The influence of China in Africa, what is it?
Comme je l'ai dit, la Chine a toujours eu un comportement exceptionnel, très apprécié, et qui, même nous, vis-à-vis de notre partenaire, on défend.
Why does he say China has a very good behavior, very good way of dealing? Why? Because basically in the past, some of our countries will go to the World Bank asking for loans to build roads, loans to build hospitals, loans to get, whatever it is, building schools and whatever infrastructure. They need loans from World Bank or IMF so they can construct. Or they can get loans from a country, for instance. However, these loans are never for free, okay? Before they give you loan, let's say the United States, for instance, or some of the Western countries, they say, we want to give you loan, but if you want to build the schools, we're going to tell you which companies you need to use to build your schools. So we're going to tell you which partners you need to build the schools. Or in fact, you ask for a loan for $1 billion or $2 billion or $3 billion. Are we not going to give you all the $3 billion immediately? First, we're going to give you $100 million and we see how you deal with that. You need to come and withdraw it from us, and you're going to go with one of our guys and it's going to oversee what you're doing. So the loans are never really loans, because then they expect you to pay with so much benefit, so much, whatever you call it, complete whatever means there. The loan is very much controlled. Or else, or in other way, they'll tell you, you want a loan. Before you get a loan, you need to accept men that want to be with men to be okay together. If you can accept men that want to be with, that's fine, then we give you a loan. If you don't do that, then you're not getting any loan from us. So they're going to try to impose you or inject their mentality, their way of life, their way of thinking into your government or into your country. If you don't do it, they say you're undemocratic. So democracy is basically how they live. If you live the way they live, you're good. You can get a loan and you're Democrats. If you don't do that, then you're not a democratic country. That's what's happened to Libya. That's what happened to Uganda lately. Now, many African countries have seen that. They don't like that. They don't want you to tell them how to do. They just want to deal with you in terms of money. They don't want your morality. Don't come and teach us how to be. That's the reason why many countries are turning to China for loans. Okay, does that make China perfect? No, it doesn't. But that's the reason why they like China. Let's go.
On défend des autres partenaires. Que la Chine a un comportement tel. Si vous comportez comme tel, il n'y aura pas de problème.
If you don't have any issue with China, China have no issues with you.
Aujourd'hui, on a compris que les richesses dont disposent les pays africains doivent être dans l'intérêt des Africains.
We understood that the riches that belong to Africans should benefit Africans. They're talking about minerals. The minerals of Africa should benefit Africans first, not other people.
Et pas dans les intérêts des autres. Et c'est pourquoi ces gens-là qui venaient s'approprier de recettes partir, maintenant on les a fait comprendre qu'il va falloir qu'on coopère de façon à ce que nous, on gagne la formation des ressources humaines, à ce que demain, s'il y a des projets qui sont investis dans un pays, que ce pays-là dispose d'experts nationaux à suivre le projet.
That's why now we've told people very openly that if you want to come and invest in our country, or you want to come and mine whatever, uranium, gold, lithium, whatever it is, you can come, but in one condition. You need to provide an education. You need to provide technology transfer to us. Meaning, by the time you leave, our people should know exactly how you did what you did. It's not just about you coming, taking our stuff, going away and giving us money. Now you come here, you build the stuff here, you develop here, you teach our kids how to do our stuff, then you can go.
Effectivement, le partenaire, c'est vrai. Bon, comment ça pose des problèmes, j'ai compris. Il y en a même, comme je l'ai dit, la Chine, il n'y a pas un pays africain, il n'y a pas de relation.
He says there's no country in Africa who does not have a good relationship with China. And that's one of the reasons why the West is not happy.
Bon, c'est pas trop tard. Mais à condition, effectivement...
Say it's not late, they can come and fix things.
Effectivement, de suivre le chemin de la Chine.
Say they must follow the way of China.
C'est-à-dire, vous respectez le pays.
You respect people, you respect the culture and the tradition.
Vous respectez le peuple. On fait un contrat, effectivement, gagnant-gagnant.
Don't impose your stuff. We do a contract, win-win.
Le contrat qu'on peut s'asseoir en tant qu'ami, en tant que frère, pour essayer d'évaluer, de voir les points faibles, les points forts, pour aller de l'avant. Donc, s'ils comprennent ça, il n'y a pas de problème.
Okay, so very clearly, Mr. is very clear, very on point. Come to Africa for business, respect us in the meantime. Don't try to tell us how to live, who to accept, what to do, okay? Your culture is yours, our culture is ours. Yes, China has played a big role in Africa for the moment. They have invested tremendously in many African countries. Quick example, Uganda built very lately highway, if you prefer. A very beautiful highway that really changed Uganda for good. Basically, in time, back in time, from Kampala to the airport, people needed 2 hours of travel. From central Uganda to the airport of Uganda, we're talking about Kampala, it was 2 hours drive. The Chinese have come to Uganda. At a matter of alone, they've built a beautiful highway that trimmed the trip from 2 hours to 30 minutes. Uganda said the 4-lane road is a jewel in a crown of an infrastructure program that will boost economic growth. China alone has loaned the East African nation nearly $3 billion in talks. Uganda's first expressway should trim 2 hours trip between the capital and international airport to 30 minutes. So that's been very, very beneficial to Ugandans. Yes, we know how is Uganda going to pay the money. We know that speculations say that they have toll gates, right? Toll gates where you have to stop the car and make a payment. So that's where China will get the money back. from toll gate. Until they reach the amounts, the loan and the benefits, then their partnership ends right there. And the road belongs solely to Uganda. We also know that in Kenya, they've done a lot of work, Chinese people. Okay, I'm not a Chinese fan. I'm just giving you facts here. In Kenya, they built a beautiful railway from Mombasa to Nairobi and many other places in Kenya, allowing a tremendous growth in terms of economy. But there are some tricky spaces in the contract. The contract stipulates that any goods bought using proceeds from the railway will preferably be sources from China, meaning any things that they needed in order to construct the highway must be bought in China. That was what was said. Any dispute that emerges from the agreement must be resolved through the binding arbitration in China. So China controlled the contract, in other words. To make the railway profitable, the Kenyan authorities use a directive that all incoming cargo at Mombasa port to be transported by train. Okay, so all cargo coming to Mombasa going into the country must be transported by train. Why do they do that? Because when your cargo comes and you go to the train, you pay the train and the train has money to pay back to the Chinese. But many people did not like that. They said this move led to huge protests and multiple court cases and growing unemployment. Evidently, Mombasa is a port. It's by the sea. Please put a map so our brothers can understand. A lot of things come to Mombasa at the port and are imported into Nairobi. So that's a distance. You can either use the road using trucks or use the train. Now, the government instructed people from now on, cargo that's come to Mombasa to be transported by train in order to fast forward the repayment of the railway. And by doing so, that's got a lot of employment from the people that use the buses, people that use the trucks, people that use other means of transportation. And then later on, they're trying to make it better, but that wasn't. So, in grosso modo, I want to say to you fellas, it's very interesting to see that China has come with a very interesting move. I'm not saying China is perfect, because China has got its own things. China will give you the money, but you must pay the money appropriately. You must redefine clothes. You must be intelligent and clever. You must look at the future. Because we know in the past in Sri Lanka borrowed money from China. Okay, China lended money to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka was unable to pay the money, and China seized the Sri Lanka port for 99 years. So 99 years, Sri Lanka port doesn't even belong to Sri Lanka anymore. It's going to be used solely by China with no tax. The same was going to happen in Tanzania, where the Chinese were to build the port. And should the Tanzanian government not to do certain things, the Chinese will take the port for about 99 years. And at the time, the President Pombe Magufuli said, no, we're not going to accept this. This is absolutely insane. He says whoever signed this contract was either drunk or absolutely stupid. Whoever signed this contract, he was talking about his predecessor, the other president before him. Whoever signed this contract was either drunk or absolutely stupid. Thank you very much, fellas. It's always a great pleasure to let you know. Is China good for Africa? Should we turn to China? Does Africa need partners? Can Africa not partner with each other? How do we acquire intelligence? Because if you don't need partners, but we at least need the cleverness, the technology. How do we get the technology? What is your strategy in order for Africans to get the technology to move forward, to get funding without necessarily becoming prisoners? God bless.